but not the least, we have an exciting closing remarks from an extraordinary speaker. She has been a good friend, and most importantly, she's a two-time award-winning author, a senior Microsoft storyteller, and I would like to welcome Miri.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Wow, there's no words to describe what went on in this room today, right? Just like, how do you encapsulate that into a story? I'm gonna try. I am a storyteller, so I'm gonna try. So thank you all for being here. I took some notes throughout the day, and I promise you it's not gonna keep you long. Five minutes. Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna start with one quote. These are all quotes that I captured throughout the day. World Women Foundation created the platform for topics that were taken out of the UNGA agenda regarding women issues. So thank you, Rupa. I think we can all give her a standing ovation. Thank you. Yeah, please do. This is for you, Rupa. We are here and we're having really important conversations because she made this happen. So thank you, Rupa. Thank you for that. There are some things that went on today, and again, I'm not going to take more than 5 minutes. I like to talk about story themes. So here's the first one: empowerment and leadership. If you don't get a seat at the table, take a folding chair. Sponsorship for women leadership is important. We have not been leaders before. I like that because it's not that we haven't been leaders before, it's that we haven't been taught how to enter these arenas because of the historic systemic issues. If we have a woman who has leadership capacity, allow her to take that position. And I will say, let's just take the position. Every single woman needs a coach, preferably starting every single, not single, status single, say every woman needs a coach, preferably starting in middle school. I agree with that. We need to change who makes those policies, and that's why we created our own firm. I love that. We're seeing a lot of women create their own firms, create their own spaces, because it's so hard. It's an uphill battle, so don't be afraid to start. The impact of conflict and war on women. Speaking of weapons, the war in Ukraine continues to impact women and girls, where women are being prostituted more and more. And I have to say, if you haven't heard this podcast by Oprah, she interviewed a doctor in Africa who's speaking about the wars and the atrocities there, and how women. He says something really powerful. He said, women are weaponized as tools because if you can diminish women, you diminish whole societies. Okay. In the case of women and children who are fleeing conflict, these bureaucratic systems of KPIs and scaling may not work. Let's address these issues with empathies, not KPIs. On climate change and its effects, the effect on climate change on women is multi-layered, and it contributes to girls' education, professional women migrations to other countries, and women exploitation. Climate justice is ubiquitous, and it's a threat multiplier for impact, including demographic drivers for women having to leave schools in these forced migrations. On health and well-being, we don't even know how to quantify the pain that women feel when they experience endometriosis. These issues are just coming to light today. Stay alive to save lives. Self-care is important in healthcare, but also in all industries. In giving, you tend to forget who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. See yourself as a person. Ask yourself, who am I first? Say yes, then learn to say no, and then I'm gonna add, then monetize it. Do more things that make you happy. And I wanna say this in a way that I often quote it: find your happy place. That may be ice cream, that may be a family member, that may be a location. Go there often, visit often. Women's bodies are built to give life, but the chaos makes it a weapon. In social and cultural roles, women are the tool for peace conversations. Listen to girls with your heart. Grandmothers, they have the ability to engage older women. We have the ability to engage older women, and that ability brings out unique talents that other groups in society cannot. Universally, older women are trusted figures. They're politically savvy. They are culture keepers. Using these powers, you can design powerful programs. Let's leverage our girls and then our grandmothers, yeah? Challenges and solutions, almost done. We need to have more programs that allow financial models such as that support women's innovation in healthcare. Even the facilities are a challenge for women. And I put a note here. I broke 3 pairs of expensive heels at a Microsoft headquarters because they were not built for women. Teach women how to have wisdom in discernment. I love that. When to leave, teach them when to leave and when to stay. We need to be looking at the interpretation and bias behind the data. There was an example given. Data said that women were worse fighter pilots in World War II. And then we found out that the data said because the planes were made for men. And I have a story about that because I am a storyteller. The story I actually just shared on LinkedIn, I'm almost done. And it's actually about that. The first time I bought myself a fancy car, by my own standards, I was mostly ecstatic about the automatic chair setting feature. My smart key would recognize that I was driver number 1 as soon as I turned on the car. So I no longer had to spend precious extra seconds adjusting my seat, my mirrors, or my music choices, especially if one of my sons had driven it. I'm 5'9", okay, with heels. I'm actually 5'4" in real life. That means that even when I make all the necessary adjustments to drive safely and comfortably, I still find myself so close to the steering wheel that I'm afraid that even if I get into a head-on collision, I will hit my head right onto the wheel before the airbag has its time to do its job. Why? Because the car and all its future iterations were built by men for men. And today, a century and some decades later, crash testing standards still rely on a crash test dummy representing a typical adult male, even though, according to recent data, 50.7% of all licensed drivers in the US are female, while 49.3% are male. What? Please don't get me wrong, I love the car technology, and I'm grateful that brilliant minds invented it and made our lives easier, more convenient, more attainable. But history has shown that when women create, they lead with community in mind. Not just themselves, they think of children and the elderly and the disabled. And what a beautiful future it will be if women fuel emotional intelligence into artificial one. Women need to be at the forefront of this new technology, AI, to ensure representation, equity, equality, intersectionality is built in, not bolt on. Instead of raising a hand at the product design table to suggest inclusive features that may or not make it considered, we ought to raise our sleeves and build the damn thing ourselves. I'm grateful for Microsoft, I work there, and Satya, our leader, for leading tech with inclusion and empathy. And I'm proud that Empresa AI, my company that I'm launching, is built on this foundation. We were just scratching the surface in this era of AI. This revolution that promises to change our lives just as radically, if not more, as the Industrial Revolution needs to consider safety standards for women and underrepresented communities, so that we don't have to worry about the technology that may fail us at a critical time just because we're not 5'9", 175 pounds. This is a call to all women to get in the driver's seat of this new technology and ideate, create, explore, play, make it yours, make it ours, and make it inclusive for all. I want to invite Rupa here to the stage, please. And Rupa and I have been friends for many years. Thank you, Rupa, for allowing me to be here today. We had conversations today, and a lot of you said, okay, great talks, now what? Now what? What's next? And so we want to say what's next. So Rupa and I will be actually sending you an invitation where all of us, each in our own domains and spaces, can build a coalition to leverage AI, new technology, emerging technologies, where you are, where you stand, wherever God has placed you, and if you don't believe in God, the universe, wherever you are, in your space, and with your technology, and with your life experience, and where you build in that domain. I call you an empress because we all have different realms that we might bring together, but we will come together in our own space. So Rupa, thank you for the opportunity today. Thank you all for being here, and please stay connected to us, to Rupa and to I, because we are going to together give you an opportunity to do what's next together. Thank you, Rupa.
Thank you.